Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aquavita Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better at Aquavita. Visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
Man, I tell you, it's been a while since, but I gotta be perfectly honest with you. I cannot stand gatekeepers. I cannot stand people that say, oh, because such and such is not working out, it ain't gonna work out for you. I can't stand people whose only sole purpose in life is just to bamboozle and dismantle what other people work on. I cannot stand them. Gatekeepers have got to go. And one way or another, if you're a school of J-Man, you know what I mean? If you're in J-Man's school of doing things, there's a fight going on because gatekeepers don't last long in J-Man's way. So we're going to go ahead and start it up just the way we need to on a show like tonight. Welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio!
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it feels so good to be back here on the J-Man Show for episode 297. I am J-Man, of course, and we are that much closer. Yes, we are. 300 is within reach, and you know what? This is going to be one spectacular episode for you all, and it feels so good to be back. I know we didn't meet up last week, and you know, with good reason, because I needed to take some time off, you know? That was just a week's worth of content, and to be honest with you, yeah, I've been doing all this stuff nonstop for quite some time, and it just felt right to just go away for a week. But all in all, though, I have missed y'all, and then I noticed, like, there's a lot of things to talk about. See, the problem is when you go away for a while, things keep on going on another spectrum. So it's kind of like, you know, doing a loose ends episode, if you will. But I'll tell you one thing, it felt so good to be gone, because let me just tell you this. I ended up getting my Game Gear back. My Game Gear is nice and restored now. You should definitely check out Game Gear for You. Well, it's called Game Gears, plural, for you. And, you know, talk to my good friend, William Mabolsi, so he can go ahead and hook you up with how to get your Game Gear or any of your retro gaming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is just amazing. Like, when I got mine back, like, better battery life. The caps have been replaced. It's in a new shell now, nice and red. Like, the custom behind this is just amazing. Like, I love having my Game Gear back. And now that I got it back, you know I'm working on getting that collection together and stuff. If there's really one thing that I'd like to work on, because I'm not in one spot as I should be, I like to say, I got to work on getting my portable stuff together. So I got my PSP, I got my Game Gear, I got my Game Boy, but my Game Boy could use some fixing. But guess what? Luckily, he works on Game Boys too. So, hey, William, you got some work, bruh? Just letting you know that. But yeah, I know. It sounded like a plug, and you know what? It kind of was. But I want to give some respect and shout-outs to people that helped me along the way around here. Because let me just tell you this. Like, looking for people that actually are credible and pretty much back up their talk is hard. You know, especially in these day and age when almost anybody can just run with something. If they got something very important to say, and they can go ahead and try to scam you in so many ways, but not in the ones that I work with. So if I'm over here speaking highly about your stuff, you know, that's due respect and that's honesty. And then there's the other side of honesty where, like, you know, you need to call it out as it is. And, like, I've dealt with that too. Like, many times as I go about building J360 Productions or working with other content creators or meeting, like, people who want to, you know, want to make movies and want to do cool things, you know? There's good people. There's terrible people. And then there are people in the middle, you know, that you hope will make the choice that benefits them so that they can live a full life, okay? Because a lot of people nowadays, I don't know, like, you do realize that this is the last year before we go into another presidential electoral year, right? You know, like 2024, you know, we get to go through all of that craziness again. And you see both, oh my God, both predominant runners are usually Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And, you know, the fan bases, or I should say hate bases, but around them, are bubbling over because quite a lot of people are like, no, we don't want neither one of them. No, you just forget all that stuff. No, one side pointing fingers at the other side and all that jazz. And I always wonder this, like, why do people act like electoral figures really have staying ground over what you control? You know what I mean? It's different when it's your country. It's different when it's like the overarching thing. I just always wonder, like, why people do that. You know, like, some of y'all haven't cared about the world stage in years. And then you bring that up when it's around electoral time. Or then all of a sudden, if you're like the race baiting crowd out there, you're always talking about, what are they done for, like, race relations in America and all that stuff. Like, nobody really wants to go through that Trump mess again, but nobody really wants to go through anything that happened during the Biden time, even though the Biden time inherited what came from the Trump time, much in the way that Trump stuff inherited what came from Obama time, and so on and so forth. So it's always like that, and I always wonder this, you know, the way politics is, it's supposed to help make those difficult decisions, govern a nation, to try to bring out the best in itself. If anything, it's just nothing but pure showboating, and then it's all around a factory of fear. If there's ways that people want to control you, they will use fear to do it. It's why, like, the whole thing regarding Dominion and Fox News, which I knew they were not going to go to court with that. I knew it. See, the thing about Fox News is you got to realize how big that iceberg is. And then much like Disney, it's too damn big to fail. There's so much of that stuff going on, and people are talking about, hey, Jay, Tucker Carlson's not employed there anymore. Yeah, you got one jackass out of 1,000, huh? If you still got that jerk over there who runs Fox and Friends, and then not to mention, what was that one guy that tried to do, like, a very edgy show at one time? It was called Red Eye. What was his name? Goldford or something like that. That guy. More of these people look like a whole Dick Tracy rogues gallery, to be honest with you. Every single one of them are pretty messed up to sleep. But the thing is that you look at them, but you cannot go at Tucker Carlson without looking over at the crazy nuts over on MSNBC, because he used to work over there. And then I think Megyn Kelly almost had a job over there, didn't she? Racist bitch. I mean, you think about it. All that stuff that goes on around here, it's just a revolving door. And you see more and more, you realize that he's going to land on his feet because the guy is privileged. Who's to say that he did not save up his money? That's like getting rid of Ben Shapiro, and you know you can't do that. And, you know, on the other side of the spectrum, like getting rid of any of these feminists that were highly around the Nita Sarkeesian time, they're never going to go anywhere. So the best thing you can do is bring up some viable arguments, or at best, just ignore them and live your life. Which I always say. Because the reason why I'm bringing that stuff up is because of all the fear-mongering that's being thrown around. Have you noticed that there are more people out here trying to say that life sucks, all this other stuff, and keep complaining and complaining and complaining and sitting there all uptight about things? Sad faces all over the place. You know what I mean? It's just terrible. It's friggin' terrible. Like, I look at this stuff all the time, and I'm like, why are you so worried about this? You might make it out in the end. Like, I know there's quite a lot of people that are mad about taxes this year, and I'm one of them, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? It's not the end of the world. Maybe I can do something a little bit better and go about a different route this time to make the changes I need so things could be better. And if I'm really smart with my money, I'll be like, oh, okay, whatever. See what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy to be outraged. It's so easy to go and say everything sucks. But here's the thing. I want you all to understand this. When you say everything sucks, you're including your friends, you're including your family, you're including the ones that give a damn about you, which might not be your family all the time and all that kind of stuff. But like I said before, be careful saying that, because the number one thing about that is it starts with you, dumbass. Do you know that life, when you wake up and all that kind of stuff, when you have the fortune to wake up and all, it starts with you? You're the first face you see, usually. Unless you're married and all that kind of stuff. You can see, like, another horror story, because some people just don't look their Sunday best in the morning. But the thing is, it's just like, you yourself make these final choices. You yourself really is the one that carries yourself well. And I don't know if you know this, but if you hang out with me enough, you'll note that I'm all about accountability and being responsible, especially self-responsibility. Your responsibility is bugged. Here's the thing. You fall over. Don't expect me to pick you up. I mean, I'll help you on occasion, but, you got to be strong enough to be on your own foundation, too. And before you say, like, I don't really have... Yes, you do. It might not be as big as other people's and stuff, but at the same time, you work on that so you can have something to be credible about. Everything is about building, usually. And if you sit there and you just get weak-willed and fall apart at the knees and stuff like that, you're not structurally sound where you need to be at. All right? This takes time to get there. Like, you might not be at the same depot like I'm at and all that kind of stuff. We all don't arrive at the train station at the same time, is what I'm trying to say. And life is no different. Like, when certain people take the age out, be like, no, you should have had this all together by 25. No, you should have had all this together by 21. No, you should... No. The hell with that. What did you have together at 21 and all that stuff? If you're going to go ahead and put a mark on somebody, that's a gatekeeper. That's somebody trying to tell you that, oh, you got to be a certain age to have... your first home, your degree, and all that stuff together. Oh, you're too old to go back to college. You're never too old to go to college. College don't have no damn age group. See, that's why popular opinion, just because everybody recites it, and just because everybody runs with it, and just because everybody thinks that that's the way it is, doesn't mean it's right. That's not the way it is. That's not the way it works. I mean, me being 36 and then building J360 Productions and all that stuff, but you got to realize something. I've been at this for a while, but at the same time, I've been on it and working my way as I got 36. I didn't build the whole thing at 36, And the hell with all that kind of stuff where people put you on a standard and all this grid line stuff like that. They doing it because that's their standard. And for me, myself, I don't mind becoming the boss. I don't mind becoming the person to hold down and do what needs to be done so I can make something grow into something. This society is weird and all sorts of warped. And I say it's warped because guess what? They tell you all this nonsense. And then at the same time, when you're really going through pains and when you're really going through, like, existential moments and all that kind of stuff, they're not taking the time to tell you not to without giving you a bill. They're not telling you anything outside of, hey, guess what? Why don't you go read this book here? Pay the money for this book about stuff you should already know. They are not taking the time to recover or help anybody because there's no money in it. Not as much money as somebody offering themselves or as much money as, like, weird situations they can profit from. This stuff is really sick. Like, if I'm not feeling my best and if I'm not capable of doing this show for y'all, I'm going to go ahead and figure out a way to work on myself to where I need to come back and do this episode. And even then, I still have a responsibility on doing this episode whether I want to or not. See, that's the joke behind a lot of people. A lot of people also think, yeah, you see, I don't have to follow through on my obligations. I don't have to do any of this stuff. You're lucky that you get to have a bad day and all that stuff. See, as an entrepreneur and as, like, somebody that's leading this business and getting the faith of people around me to run this thing, I don't get to have a bad day. I don't get to go ahead and blow off at the top and go ahead and try to be like all this extra stuff where like people are saying, oh, you're not accountable enough. It's like, oh, but I am. I'm more accountable than your sorry ass is. I know, and like I said, when people try to recite your flaws to you, let me just say this to all of you once and for all. Your age is not a flaw. Your age is how long you've been on Earth. You probably lived multiple different lifetimes. You probably had to work in that warehouse for like most of your 20s. You probably had to do a menial job. Like, it just like, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's just like, if anything, why don't you just carry it and just say like, it made you where you need to be at. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. I think like a lot of this toxic stuff just comes out of, Hollyweird. And even as I say that, it's like, but you still want to be a movie maker. I don't want to be a movie maker. I am a movie maker. There's a big damn difference. There's a reason, like, just because I'm not working on the J360 shows and broadcasting them doesn't mean that I'm not working on other stuff in the back. You see what I'm saying? Did you know, like, when I was gone for a week, like, there were people that actually thought that I stopped, that I wrapped it up, like, that I wasn't going to follow through on any of it? And I don't know why it always got to be people twice my age doing that stuff. The ones that sit there and be like, oh, well, I ain't going to do that. Oh, I ain't going to look for that. Yeah, because things really worked out for you when you were my age, right? There's no comparison here. And it's old people that do this stuff. You know how it goes. It goes down the line. Like, it'll be old people. It'll be your parents sometime who could be those same old people. It could be like, it could be a whole different factor of people that always got something to say to try to block you and say like, I ain't trying to destroy you from your... If they ever even utter something like that, yeah, they are. Because it's something that they're not used to. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you told them you wanted to be a dentist, or if you wanted to work in a garage or something like that, they probably wouldn't give you too much of a problem at that point. You know what I mean? Because those are prominent fields, and there's nothing wrong with them. But it's like this. Are you pleasing yourself, or are you pleasing them? That's a trap in itself. If you were in college and you signed up for something to please mom, once again, you didn't look at this thing right. College is a way, especially if you're not at a local college or whatever, it's supposed to help you. It's supposed to help you become something that you want it to be. You're forking the money for it, right? Now, I'm not talking to entitled people, because entitled people, they got their own damn problem. And then, by the way, F you entitled people for making the stuff unbearable. Let me just say that right now. And another thing, this could also be your friend, too. Remember your lifelong friends? Your lifelong friends, oh, yeah, they'll always be there for you. Yeah, they always got your back. Oh, yeah, they've been there for 15 years. They stayed 15 years too long. You need to let them go. If they are not about, like, any of the stuff that you're trying to do, or they always act, like, absent-minded about it, or they always go, like, oh, well, you shouldn't go and do it, stuff like. And they tell you all of that namby-pamby bullshit. It's like this. No. Tell me what really, really is on your mind. What's really coming from you? Because let me just tell you this. They stayed there too long. Time is weird in its own right. Because you think the ones that have been around you since you were a kid are going to be there forever, right? Yeah, it's rare. That shit's rare too. There are some people that are, and then there are plenty of people that are not. The truth is, don't be ashamed or afraid to meet people throughout your life. Be open about those things. Be careful about it, because there are people with ulterior motives all the time. But at the same, you got to realize this. Don't gatekeep yourself from doing things. Like if your friends don't want to go to like a concert or something like that, go to a concert. If your friends don't want to go to the movies with you, shit, go to the damn movies. To hell with this stuff, is what I'm saying. This is where you as an individual got to outweigh things. And sometimes, like I said before about popular opinion, it's not always right. Because like there are moments where like me and Al would argue about Destiny 2. And see, the thing about Destiny 2 is, like, we'll play Destiny 1. Don't get it twisted. But Destiny 2 is the one that's being worked on all the time. That's the one that's currently, it's one of the popular games out here. People are actually active on it and they're having a good time. And, you know, despite all the crazy stuff that goes on with the development of Destiny, there are people that actually enjoy it. And I'm like this, I want to be one of those people. But he always had a gripe about it. Even though Destiny long since fixed their issue. And they still got a little bit here and there, but what game doesn't? Like, as many times as you hear people complain about Halo Infinite, there are people that love Halo Infinite and play it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to be over there too. For those of you that are on the Xbox and all that kind of stuff, you know, let me know about things. Like, I'll join up with you. The only reason why I haven't is because I really want to understand the story of Halo and stuff like that, especially with the new trilogy. So, and then those are some Power Play episodes that are coming along, but we will catch up in that series. We will do quite a bit. And then not only that, I want to catch up on some Gears installments too, because I think the last Gears I played was Gears of War 3, and even then that was a long time ago. Hey, my Xbox 360 is Gears of War, so that explains it. But yeah, like, you know, there's a lot of big things coming for that series. But what I'm really trying to say is, the way we were going back and forth about it is there was no actual game time happening on Destiny 2. And I was like, you know what? What do I need to argue for? He's already wrong. So I went ahead and I dropped in on Destiny 2. You know, got my expansions and all. The only one I don't have is Lightfall, by the way. I'm looking into that later. But here's the thing. I'm on there and I'm having a ball, man. I'm having a great time. I'm taking the time to play the game with some randos. I haven't really taken the time to, you know, talk to people via the mics and stuff. But here's the thing, like, you know, I'm sitting there playing it and it's like, God knows what the hell's going on. Like, I don't really pay attention to the lore as much. I'm sure there's a very good story in there, and I wish I had enough time in this episode to tell you about it. But the point is that, like, I just wanted to shoot creatures and live the life as a space bounty hunter. I mean, that's how you be Star Wars without necessarily using the Star Wars license. See what I'm saying? And, like, I'm having such a good time on Destiny 2 that I look over at Al, I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? And stuff like that. But guess what? He's playing it now. And, you know, like, it's beautiful because there's crossplay involved. Like, it doesn't matter what system you're on. You can join up with people. That's what gaming should be. You know? And that's the thing about modern gaming. People will sit there and gatekeep themselves to death, and they will not follow through instead of just making memories, instead of just having a good time. Isn't it amazing how people will always say, man, I wish I could go back to, and, like, everybody tries to reach back for those good old days. And I mean, that's beautiful, don't get me wrong. Nostalgia is amazing in its way. But nostalgia is not a bad thing. And I don't know why people sit here nowadays talking about it like it is. What it is just don't get so wrapped up in your past to the point where you miss your present and you don't have a future. That's what it should be. Like, I'm sitting there thinking this. Okay, you know, I had my good days and stuff like that in the past. Which is why I'm not going to dive into those Final Fantasy re-releases that they're doing. They're doing that again too, yeah. Pixel remasters. But I'm not going to dive into it because I already got those games on different consoles. And then not to mention, like, you know, it's okay for me to turn on those consoles and just play those games and stuff while making new memories because I've never finished them, you see? But I know what's going on enough to actually enjoy them. So I'm going to work on making new memories. That's what the best part of it is. Like, when you go meet people, stop gatekeeping yourself to the point where it's like, will they like me? It doesn't matter whether they like you. You just got to like yourself. And then, you know, the vibe will actually seep out, and people who actually get you will enjoy you. And the ones that are jealous of you, they're the ones be sitting in the back fuming. But here's the thing, they'll always be thinking about you, though, because that's just the way it works. Like, I probably live rent-free in so many people's heads nowadays, like, why you hang out with me? Because you're a fucking douche, that's why. You know? Because all of you is not good to me, and at the end of the day, I don't care to hang with you. That's how some of y'all need to realize that sometimes. Because that's going to lead to my next thing about those people that are naysaying, gatekeeping, the ones that you know, and you'll know the ones, and if you start defending these people, you need to go ahead and let the air out and stop defending these people. Time will fool the hell out of you. Because if they're not on your side about these things, you just need to go do it yourself then. Here's what you need to give these people, especially if they don't value you. Give them distance. Give them the longest stretch of distance you can. This goes for old people. This goes for any of these people who don't care for you or your goals or your dreams and just want to take all your time out and stuff like that. Even the ones that, especially the ones that you're over here catering to, trying to hope that they like you back and all that kind of stuff. It's a damn shame. But, you know, like I said earlier in this episode, people are profiting off of people's flaws, insecurities, and their loneliness. It is all over the place. It's not right. There's a lot of evil in it. And the truth is that, guess what? Because people can make, you know, a substantial living from it, that's why it's always a thing. And it's just one of those things you're going to have to deal with until, like, you know, you meet Mr. and Mrs. Right. And then at the same time, just, you know, hopefully it flows well. Hopefully to the point where, you know, you can have that happily ever after. But the thing about it is, though, it's like it's hard because you can't really trust people these days. But here's the number one person you can trust. You can trust yourself. You can hope that you made the right decisions because things can go in any which way. But as long as you got stability and foundation, that's within you. You know, like say like you got that job. Say like you got that house and all that kind of stuff. Say like you, and then it's at an age where guess what? People didn't expect you to have it. Fuck other people. That's your achievement. Just like me making movies, or just like me working on J360 Radio, or working on the YouTube and all that stuff. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with doing that and making money. There's nothing wrong with making money either. You just got to do right about it. Like, you know, the OnlyFans and all that stuff. I can joke about OnlyFans, but at the end of the day, like, you know, and I have, I'm not going to lie. I can joke about, like, cosplayers doing this stuff here, pretty much as being the next form of the Players Club and ruining characters that were never intended to be seen as such. But, you know, I don't care. As long as you're not hurting people with it, and as long as you're not acting like you're the biggest thing since sliced bread, because you're not. Anybody can wear a bikini and look like Blossom from the Powerpuff Girls. I don't know why the hell you would do it, but it's out there. You know? Or Shigo from Kim Possible. Or, you know, basically just any of that stuff. But I could dive into, like, animation issues. I already did an episode about this, too. Like, which one's better between, like, Eastern animation or Western animation. And I like to say I like all of animation. Because that's what I want it to be. I wanted to make cartoons. And I'm going to make cartoons. But the thing is, it's like, when you say that one is better than the other, you're dissing those that you probably grew up with. You know what I mean? I can't say that Japanese anime is better, because in turn, I'm dissing Superman, I'm dissing Batman, I'm dissing Rocky and Bullwinkle, I'm dissing Warner Brothers, the Looney Tunes, you understand what I'm saying? And also, I'm dissing the Disney characters. Yeah, Mickey and Friends were pretty funny, too, back in the day. But this is when they made animation. Okay? There are some companies that don't make animation anymore. But this is where we of the new age need to step in. And you know what? Like I say, if you focus too much about the monetary value and all that kind of stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, you got to also realize you can have all the money in the world and still be unfulfilled. You do know that, right? You can be rich and unfulfilled. You can be sitting there like, oh, well, I want to go to Kaibo, and you'll never have a good time. You could have all that stuff going on, but if it's something that's really fulfilling for you, such as, like, you know, with me and all the things that I want to do, is because I had no choice but to be the boss. With the way all this stuff's going on and the way people were like, oh, you want to come work for us? And it's like, wow, you're really not making the onboarding here great. You're messing your own self up. Why would I want to work for you? Because you don't have any confidence in any of the stuff that you do. Out there on blow, out there trying to find something to alleviate problems temporarily. Whereas me, I'll go and I'll solve a damn problem. You know? It's kind of like if I have a bad date and she's like, she want to go home? I'll give her an Uber to go home. I'm not taking her home. Screw that. I ain't worried about none of that with her. I will go ahead, do what I got to do, go to the movies, go to the arcade if there's an arcade open or something like that. I will go find something to do. I do not need you. You understand what I'm saying? And I will happily let you know that. the worst part about all this kind of stuff is, I think, even with podcasting nowadays has more gatekeeping and rules in it than anything. Look, I get it. Having a mic and sitting there and talking on said mic, make sure you know what the hell you're saying. Like, even right now, I know what the hell I'm saying, but it's like, when it gets right down to it, though, some of y'all will go ahead and just foul this up. Or you'll go and you'll ask established podcasters, like, what can I do to podcast? How to podcast? And I'm like, damn, do you have any stories? Do you have anything that you feel like you can tell people? Then yeah, you should go ahead and podcast. You go ahead and say what you need to say. And how you set up and go about the hosting and all that stuff, entirely up to you. Think with the budget in mind. But at the same time, it's like, why are you making the ability to talk to somebody or talk to anybody, in this case with one miking, bigger than what it is? Why does everything got to be an issue with people? You know? It's like one time when I said, I'm going to run my own production company, and people will look at me like with crazy looks and stuff like that. I looked back at them and I said, wasn't a question. Because it's not. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And damn it, I've been doing it too, because things have been looking great. You know? But that's the whole point. And then at the same time, when you look over at like all these other people that, you know, they listen to pleasing their parents, and they listen to pleasing the elders in the family, or, you know, the ones that always talk about 401k like it's a saving grace, or talk about that job that you had that was destroying your knees, destroying the cartilage in your back, and then not to mention making you pretty much look like really, really fucked up, and then not to mention demanding more of you and not giving you a livable wage or any sign of stability. And they act like that's your saving grace. They act like that's all you can get. That's all you ever going to have. Fuck them. That is my message to them. Fuck them. They don't know what the hell you done went through and stuff like that to get to this point. They don't know, like, the harassment you probably had to endure, the ignorance that you probably had to endure, and not to mention, like, and that's just going to work. Not all the other crazy stuff with actually being there and then driving back home just to listen to them say, yeah, I had a good job. You had a good job. It was a part-time job with no sign of advancement, in addition to, like, just minimum wage. You start here, you stay here. The end. Especially if the boss doesn't like you. Or then you go for those other kind of jobs where you had to work part-time for a while, and then, only then, when the full-time job was open and you went for it, where they sitting there trying to have a choose fest between you or the lazy one because the boss got along with the lazier person than you. And then they try to go ahead and make it seem like you're lazy because you do things at a different way and a different pace than what they want you to do. So you can get lost behind instead of further ahead. And if it sounds like all that stuff has like more meaning to it than it does, it's because I actually went through that. I went through that a lot. And I still managed to come out on top. Not say everything sucks, and put on J360 Productions for you guys. There's a reason why these shows come on at 10 o'clock. Do you see what I'm saying? I had to endure that stuff because I believed in my dream. I didn't listen to too much of anything the elders in my family said, except my pops, because I take care of my pops. But the thing about it is, it's like, you know, I never listened to any of the elders. I never listened to any of that naysaying nonsense that's not going to help me grow. These are people that are not going to invest in the company even as it's flying, because I know better. I know people love to bitch, moan, and complain, especially if something doesn't go their way, and then because they don't have control in their life, they want to try to control somebody else's life, and they're never going to control my life. I call the shots here. And I've been doing a damn fine job with it, and I don't sit there and ask for much. You know? So, I just carry on. Like, when I look at people complain all the time, when I look at people who give up, when I look at people who whine, or I look at people who just sit here and blame the presidency for everything, regardless of whoever the hell has it, whether it be DeSantis or anybody, And that's just foolish as hell, too, to vote for somebody like him. Note I said that. The idea is that, you know, you can go and scapegoat anything you want to, but I'm not playing your game, and I am not hanging with gatekeepers. I'm doing what I got to do for me. And, like, if you really think about it, my lifelong friends, I don't have any. Well, I have Al, but the thing about it is it's different with me and him. But, in truth, the ones that came before Al, though, fuck them. I threw them out a long time ago. The only one outside of that group that I have respect for is Mondo and his sister Lisa. And that's about it. Anybody else, no. Because they weren't good people in the end. You see what I'm saying? That's one of those things you're going to have to remember. But here's the thing. Don't be hard on yourself. Be true to yourself at all times. Make choices, make changes, and just hold it together and don't give up. We're going to get through these times and stuff, and results vary. Like, if you stay in that same situation, well, like I said before, get rid of them same damn people you hang out with. You just have to work on that improvement. But until then, though, I got to get off this thing. You guys take care of yourselves. The power play will be tomorrow. And, hey, you know, come on by sometime. We'll go ahead and we'll chat. No, it ain't power play tomorrow, is it? Or wait, yes, it is, actually. I'm looking at my book right now. It is. It feels like Thursday right now. But speaking of Thursday, though, yeah, those of you that are trying to get on Jam 68, this is TikTok, okay? And I'm not talking about your stupid app. I'm talking about, like, time's starting to run out, so, you know, get that stuff together. I got the submission rules right down here in the description box, so, you know, like, everything will work out in the end. But, yeah, you know, Thursday's the deadline at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, okay? But, yeah, it is Power Play night tomorrow, so Power Play will be happening at 10 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be on twitch.tv/J360TV. So, you know, come on through. Let's talk it up a little bit while playing some Sonic, you know? It should make for a fun evening. But until then, this is J-Man signing off. Peace.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.